start.
Right guys.
Welcome back. 309 engine.
Scrap.
Is
Maybe.
it? We don't know.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We've got, obviously as you saw in the last episode, Dave's 205 for any parts we may need.
Well, he's going to charge £5 million to
Every
us.
part we take off is 100 quid or more. I've got a dog attacking me here.
Yeah.
But Stoke seems to think with the limited amount that's attached to this engine that we might be able to actually get it started.
Well,
Do some...
engines are a bit like, you know, remember in school, the triangle, the fire triangle. As long as you've got fuel, air and ignition, is it? Yeah, and you've got a fire going. It's a bit similar, not kind of 100%.
You said you were good at science as well,
I
didn't you?
was, yeah, level 2 I did. But an engine needs a spark, needs fuel, it needs compression, and it needs it all at the right time.
Yeah.
So if it's got all them things, it will run. Do you know what I mean? Or cough, splutter, or you know.
But the guy who had it before us, he never mentioned whether he's ever had it running or the
He
guy
said
before him.
he got it like this.
Yeah. So it could be a Duff engine for all we know, but we don't even know if the engine's in that Duff, to be fair, do we? So we're going to do what we can do on this first, see if we can get it going,
Yeah.
and then slowly take parts off that one.
And then if this does run, or if it don't, we don't even know if it turns over. That's the first thing we're going to check. But if it turns over, we can get this to run. The bottom end could be gone, the head gasket could be gone, which we wouldn't know without linking up like radiator and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, if it runs and say the head gasket is gone, that's fine. We can whip the head off, do the head gasket. But if it runs and the engine seems to run okay, we know it's a decent engine.
Yeah.
You know, you take it out and get started on stuff.
Well, first things first, I don't think it runs on leaves, so I'm going to give the engine bay a quick vacuum.
And even if it did run, it could kick a big flame out somewhere, and the whole thing, well, it might have done as a favour, set on fire with all these leaves in the engine bay. But yeah, like Jack said, I think we need to have a good clean up in here so we can see what's what.
So we'll vac out the crap, and then we'll get cracking on
Vac out the crap?
seeing if it works or not.
We'll vac out your crap. Just give it a bit of an hoover, just to clean up and see what. Hoover. See what's what. But engine loom. We ain't unplugged that. It's already unplugged. This is. We think this engine may have been out.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Everything is disconnected in
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah.
And everything's, well, not everything, but a lot of stuff's missing from it. So it's either been out or they've started taking it
they were
out.
nearly on the way for getting it out. So I think the best thing to do before we even try turning it over, we'll whip the plugs out, get some like plus gas or WD-40, just spray it down the spark plug hole. So when we do turn it over, if there's any, I mean, we'll have a little look with the torch. I don't think there'll be any water in there. It's all sealed up.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of lubricant in there just for us. Well, if it does turn over, we're not going to cause any damage. So, spark plugs we've managed to get out, and as you can see they've obviously sat with some water in there, and I mean the little sealing ring seems intact on them, but all the crud has got in there and it's just all sitting on where that seal. So if we don't clean that all out in the top of the cylinder head, when we put the spark plugs back, we haven't actually got any new spark plugs, so we're either going to have to clean these up or pinch them. But yeah, so when we put these back in, if we leave all that crap in there, it won't seat, so it won't seal, so then you lose compression, it won't run.
So this, we've patented this, it's called the
Is it?
right
What's
angle
that, the
hose attachment.
Spark plug cleaner 5000?
It's called the Samco sucker, isn't it?
Fantastic, yeah.
That reminds you of anything?
Shocking, so now the plugs are out, if we have got any compression, you're not going to have any now, because obviously the plugs are out, which is going to help us turn this bottom end over. So if it does turn over, it's turn over a lot more freely with the spark plugs out.
Yeah.
So Jack's got himself a socket. This is the moment of truth, because if this don't move, so the cam belt's here, because that's the other thing. If you haven't got a cam belt on it, this engine ain't going to do anything. So obviously the cam belt keeps everything all in time. So the cam belt seems okay for just what we're trying to do. It will need a new cam belt. Because we have explained this hasn't ran, we don't think, since 2000.
Yeah, we don't have any information past then.
Yeah. So
if you're new here, while Stokes is away, like and subscribe. We do more than 309s. This is just until we get, well, mainly until we get the Cosy back. But as soon as the Cosy back on the Cosy, if you are new, there's about 50 episodes you can go back and watch anyway and see how we've grown, see how we've changed in the last 12 months.
That seems to turn quite freely, doesn't it? Yeah. Bottom end seems to turn nice and,
right,
yeah, nice and freely. So we are missing a starter motor which we have in the boot. So I would say if we can get this starter motor bolted on, we can at least get 12 volts to it or get the loom back on it. Because the thing is with this car, we haven't got the ignition barrel's been removed with kind of part of the loom, so we may have to kind of hot wire it. Or we can live up that and get a spark, which I think we'll do first, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's out, it flicks in and out. So that's working on the bench.
So should work on the car.
Yeah.
Good thing about having a donut car is that you've got a load of reference points for whatever's missing off that engine. Should be in this engine, hopefully, which you don't always get.
I think we're going to have to take the radiator out. That's not a very nice job, is it, on a...
on one of these?
Yeah, so we'll come back down, I think we'll take the rad out, because this engine's got to come out of this car at some point anyway.
So what we've realised is the starter motor that was in the boot of this car isn't the starter motor for that engine. So I don't know where that's from, but we're going to have to pinch the starter motor off this engine.
Very similar, so it could be off a 1.6 or something like that, but...
Oh, it's one he's had in his workshop.
Yeah.
He's tricked us.
Now let's just change the starter motor on a
100 quid, mate, at least.
100 quid?
You're saying that's too cheap?
Yeah, probably. You got to take all the rad out.
That's true, 200 quid.
Someone will go, oh, I should check them out in 5 minutes. Oh. God, giving birth. Dave's giving us a start motor.
Huh?
20 Dave's giving us a start motor.
Fucking start.
I'm not even joking, mate.
You mean that?
I forgot they gave us that.
Yeah, that looks about right.
So we didn't have to take all that off, did you? No.
Good practice, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just test them both, and then we've got a spare. Anyone needs a 205/309 starter motor, or whatever that's from?
I know. That works.
Seems okay.
Lucas. So we'll go with that one out.
Should we try this one anyway? Just because this is the one that Dave gave us. We don't even know if it works.
So that's a dud.
So it wasn't all in vain. That's a good thing. That's probably why it wasn't on the car then. Right, that can go back from whence it came.
Right, so the engine is going to turn over now. So you can see that spinning, you can see the dizzy cap end spinning. Put the plugs in. We need, obviously we nick the dizzy arm for the Lancia.
So
the dizzy arm is different on that car.
So we're going to steal it from the Cosy.
Yes, we can find the old Cosy one, or we're going to have to take it back off the Lancia, but then we have to put it back on to then pull that back up. So, yes, a smaller size.
You don't trust me, that's why he does those little after checks. Yeah, like it.
Yeah, so we haven't got a spark because I don't think we've got power to the coil because obviously the ignition and all that. So we're going to have to power that up. Nothing. See, does that look? It looks new, that does. But that might stick out further, that's all.
Have a look. It is slightly different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't make the contact.
And this is the one that was in
It was already
here.
on it, yeah.
Right, we all connected up?
I think so.
Back to the drawing board. What horse did they use?
Is that why they've...
Did they use a Shire horse? Because I feel like a Shire horse has got a bit more than one horse.
I think a Shire horse has got more torque though.
Yeah. Is that how big they are?
Yeah, where like a race horse is more horsepower, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Hey, it got less torque.
Yeah, yeah.
Get at us if you know what horsepower, how they measure horsepower.
But is this why they've changed the measurement now to PS or whatever?
No, and kilowatts. If you're in Australia, it's like so many kilowatts of power.
I think horsepower, was that like a vague thing back in the day?
It's like, yeah. What did they do? Did the guy who invented the car get horses and he had his car with like towing a log?
There's absolutely no way the first car was anywhere near as quick as a horse.
This is what I'm about to say. So one horse could tow this certain log, but then it couldn't tow 2 logs. So they got the car doing it, and it did the same. So that was technically 1 horsepower. But if you could then tow more logs, they'd have to get more horses to see how many horses could tow the logs.
But I wonder, like we said, I wonder what horse was the base unit of horsepower. Was it a big horse, a little horse, a strong horse?
On the way to the glue factory.
Yeah, a little pony.
It could have been an old horse. Could be on his last
But I wonder how
legs.
much horsepower the first car had.
Imagine if they measured it in donkeys though.
Donkey power.
Like we said, this engine we think may have been more or less nearly taken out. Or
Drinking a cup of tea?
no, it's water. Put a little water in a cup. Yeah, so it's on rubber engine mounts, and we were earthing that to that, but it weren't earthing the coil because of the rubber engine mount, because you have an earthing point from the body to the engine which wasn't on. So Jack's bolted that on, and now we've got a spark. So we're going to chuck the plugs in. We know we haven't got fuel, but we have got some easy start. So chuck the plugs in, spray some easy start down the throttle body, and it may make a
Hopefully.
kind of an engine noise.
It's looking better at the minute.
Yep.
Sweet dirty plugs. Plug, plug, plug.
Oh, that'll do. Shut the flap up. So we sprayed some easy start in because none of the fuel system is on. So if that sucks into the engine, it should kind of then fire up on that easy start. Not too much, because sometimes it floods.
Seemed to go a little bit.
It could have wet the plugs up.
Yeah.
Right. It went though, didn't it?
Seemed to a little bit, yeah. Sounds over then.
That sounded good.
Sounds like a diesel tractor. We've had it fired up a couple of times now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get it.
But how long would it run for anyway? Even if you got
If
it.
I could get the fuel, I could get it to run.
Yeah.
But what it is that, when it sprays in, it tries to compress it and it can't. So then it tries to like hydraulic the engine. Yeah, it's hydraulicing because it's the liquid.
People used to carry, nobody carry spanners, they'd carry a tin of Easy Start.
No, Easy Start hydraulics, my Transit, you couldn't start it with
Couldn't.
Easy Start, yeah.
So what we're going to do, put some petrol straight into
Take the
the...
plugs out, put some petrol, dab of petrol down there. Are you going to dab it on the spark plug? No. Down the ball?
They die, don't they, if you've ate.
on the back.
What are you doing? What are you checking it for?
Checking the grade.
Checking the fuel.
Taste it.
Yeah,
Do that.
What?
Are we going to go and have a dab?
Hold on, it literally only needs like a fucking...
So,
Put the spark plug in that one then.
that is terrible, that is though. I could have done that. I thought you were really going to be gentle with it.
I ain't getting a spark anymore.
Oh, I don't.
The only other way of doing it is if we plug in the ECU, plug in all the loom, what we've got, and rigging up a fuel supply to it. But mate, you've got there's nothing on that. Look, there's no fuel bits on there. But it did run. I don't know if you got it on
Did
camera.
it?
No, it definitely fired up.
But did it though?
No, it definitely ran.
Did it?
Yeah,
It
fired.
fired up. It's noisy, but it lasted about 2
If we
seconds.
put the battery on better, it may.
Maybe.
If we get.
We're gonna have to let it charge anyway, one way or the other. So
We'll come back and give it a whirl. Right, let's tidy up.
see you in a click.
Right then, Jack. Do you want to fill us in a little bit?
No, we're just doing some off-camera cable work, wiring work, just seeing what goes to what. Because I think,
We're back on trying to start it, aren't we?
yeah, it's just there's a lot been disconnected.
Everything's been.
Yeah, everything's been disconnected, but it's also not identical to over there. We don't think on the old.
Yeah, because this is
205.
phase 1 and we've learnt that's phase 2.
Yeah, so there's a few. It is quite similar though. To be fair, I think just
The whole wiring loom's different, but we have nicked the starter loom, so that I think that's the same. And we nicked this little fuse box from out the front.
Money.
So, what,
Chang chang.
if we can, even though we ain't got an ignition or the cables for an ignition, so we're going to try and power it up in there and try and turn it over from there. Because if we can power the rest of the car up, then that'll make the fuel pump work, all that.
any fuel in it.
I don't know.
Mate, even if there is, you want to get that out and put some fresh in.
Yeah, so we won't be able to start today. Well, you will probably see it today, but we won't because we need to get a little.
No, they'll see it tomorrow, won't
No, we'll see on the side.
they?
Whatever that did was
Powering all the stuff in the car.
And then I would have thought if I put power to this, that would put lights on the dash.
Oh yeah, we got some lights there.
Stripped in it now.
Oh, hold on, here we go. We've codged into it to probably power it up. No, it's, whoa, what are you doing? You've been
What
making
do you mean?
You've got problems, you have, mate. You're trying to do the thinking. You have to do passes and snips. You snipped your finger off. Dave. Seasick, mate. Dave, you're going to drop the boat at the back when you're going to smash everything.
You know what they called Peugeot back in the day? The boat to the road.
Did that?
I didn't.
Yeah, the boats, the boats that rocks.
Means, don't you? Pirate ship in French. It does.
So Liz, pirates went to land and went, oh, I know what I'll do. Let's make cars and we'll call them pirate ships. So people are rolling, this is a pirate ship. Pirate
Ship of the land.
ship
it's called.
GTI.
Yeah.
A ship GTI.
309 was the
The galleon.
how big it
What's a galleon then?
A 405
big boat.
MR16.
No, a galleon, is a galleon a ship? Or is that a
It's a
galleon?
pub, my brother
area?
works in.
Yeah, it does actually. He's after some stuff.
Ask him what it means.
What's the conclusion, mate?
Duff pump.
Duff pump.
But that's least of our problems at the minute.
You're used to being a duff pump, ain't you? Still giving it away?
Expertly repaired with only the correct tool.
As you can see, it's quite rusty.
And the connections have come off.
Connections have come off, and it don't stink like petrol. You'd expect that to absolutely hum like petrol, but it smells a little more like off thinners or something.
Yeah. And it's stuck in there.
Yeah.
Apparently that pulls out. Does it even fit through this hole? How do you get the start of that?
Oh, look at oh my god.
Well, that's probably why the fuel pump didn't work. That's 20 odd years of sludge.
Sorry, mate.
Sure, these aren't your parts.
Dave isn't currently stripping your mint.
Don't, you can't do that. Because he'll leave this in, because you know what he does? Don't show it if you don't want it left in.
What's he had it off the Turbo Technics one or the?
Oh, he has got Turbo Technics, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Without telling everybody where you got them from, Dave. Where have you got them from, Dave?
You're a car part.
Yeah, I've just nipped down to
Your Stu parts.
Yeah.
CEF.
Go on. We've come to the conclusion it's not going to run today, so we'll be back. Back to fight another day.
New day. Still trying to get this 309 started.
Yes, because like we've always said, we keep banging on about, it would be nice to hear it run, fire into life. We've heard splutters, but hopefully now got a few little bits what we're picking up. So today is probably the day.
Yeah,
Could be
if
the
it
day.
doesn't start today, the answer to this episode's title is no, it didn't start. But hopefully it will. It does seem like some sort of fueling issue. Obviously there's no actual fuel going to the rail, is there?
No.
So we've picked up a few parts to sort of jerry-rig a fuel system.
As long as that ECU we've got off Dave will work.
Yeah, which is obviously another, you know, we don't know whether it will or not. But if it doesn't work, you'll have to leave in the comments below anything else you think we should try.
I mean, we're just thinking at the minute, this Easy Start, I've found it works really good on diesel engines, but some engines just don't like Easy Start. They'll literally like just want to kind of lock up, or they won't run on it. We have had it, like I say, splutter and kind of, it does seem a fueling issue, doesn't it, Jack?
Yes.
With whatever we're spraying into it.
It's like when you first put a bit of Easy Start in, it tends to kind of fire up, but then I think the Easy Start might flood it.
Yeah, just wet the plugs. I don't know.
It's very strange, but
we've got a good spark. We've changed all the leads now, thanks to Cozzy Dave and his brother. What doesn't know, we've nicked all his bits off his Mint 205.
Hopefully he's not watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you are watching it, Stu, mate, you need to have a word with your brother.
Or sell us an engine.
And today, let's just point this out, it's been a year. Is it today or about now?
I'd have to double check. Since we started.
Since we started the YouTube channel. So, if you want to look back and see what we've kind of done in 1 year, I think we've done alright. We've done alright in 1 year, haven't we?
Have we completed anything yet?
No. An aerial light, we've still got to get handbrake cables full. Anyway, let's have a laugh.
Are you doing it there?
Is he creeping around?
John, yeah.
Did you hold your hair?
John, yeah. It does with your eyebrows, isn't it?
Yeah, but my eyebrows tinted.
I knew he'd had something done.
Why?
No, I could tell when you walked through the door.
I hadn't done yesterday.
We're at HQ.
HP.
So, fuel pump out of a Audi A3. Fuel lines, we're just literally going to pull these down now. And we're kind of going to rig up onto this, drop that into some fuel, wire this up, so that will be getting us fuel to the fuel rail. We've been to a place and got some fittings. We're going to rig up a proper switch for the ignition, and we're going to give it another go.
Trying to blow ourselves up.
Yeah.
Nah, it smells old.
It's like, yeah.
Smell like?
It
smells old.
Does it smell like lead? Because you're probably giving yourself lead poisoning.
What's the worst that can happen?
Lead poisoning?
I've had worse.
Well, would this have had? No, not in 2000. It wouldn't have had leaded fuel.
No.
That's all good. Why are we all creeping underneath when you could perfectly stand up if you go up higher? Do you learn how to spell Thailand as well? Thailand.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Well, you know, you get an uncle that's a part of your family, but isn't kind of your family, but you know, one of them uncles. So I had one of them uncles, and he was going to Thailand, and I used to call it Toyland. And I go, can I go? Because he used to think he's going to go and play with toys, but he probably did.
So back to the matter in hand. Dave was off to Thailand this morning, apparently.
My answer's not in this no more.
He's done it for a year. He can't be bothered. But was it last weekend or weekend before? Dave says, I am a changed man.
No, I haven't changed my mirror, no.
Anyway, so we've got this Audi fuel pump on and it runs. So all we need to kind of do with this now is kind of make something to drop it into, to put fuel in. We can make a nice
You got a bucket?
like that, and it'll all go bang.
It's funny though if it goes up.
That's not really though. Do you see me running around like an arsehole and Dave just going,
Well, I know I'm getting my motor out quick.
The ignition loom in the car has been removed, completely removed, and there's some plugs with 4 cables on. There's a live one side and 4 cables. Literally that gets lived up. So we're going to rig that up now, but one's a starter. So when I live it all up, it lives everything, starter motor and everything. So if it did start, the starter would still be engaged. So we're going to put the starter on switch, and then the ignition just lived up. So when we put the jumper pack on, everything lives up.
What are you doing here, mate?
Fill up the petrol tank for the...
Is that the new petty tank?
Should I fill it, Dave?
That works, that does. Mate, don't be chucking that. Look at that liquid gold. Don't be letting people see that. People will be having our door off for that tin. What? Alright. Your language is pretty bad lately.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? I don't even swear on YouTube no more. It only took me a year to filter it out.
A few moments later.
This explodes and you'll hear me swearing loads. Are you confident in this, Jack?
Well, if they spark and the fumes have been filling under the...
Worst case scenario, mate, this sets alight. Which I'm not that fucking... I'm not
I don't swear on YouTube anymore.
I didn't swear though, did I? I went poof.
Is that better?
Yeah, it sounds more primed. Well, let's see if we've got fuel at the rail. I think what we'll do, we'll put that into a cup.
Yeah, and just let it flow in. Yeah, okay, stop.
Oh, that's dirty, that is.
Proper dirty.
That's really dirty. The state of that, it looks like tea. Ever so lightly, see where it's leaking from.
I think that guy at the chateau might have had, been hiding some things from us.
Right.
Because every part is broke on that other one. Literally everything we took off so far doesn't work. HT leads.
I reckon they've used that car as a parts car.
It's been, like Stokes said, if you look underneath it looks like it's been taken apart at some point.
Or somebody's gone to take it apart to restore it. And then just...
The rear axle's only got 2 bolts in it.
See it?
It should have 4, so it's definitely been off or attempted to be taken apart. Distributor cap doesn't work. The fuel rail, I don't think the fuel rail's okay. The HT leads don't work. Fuel filter doesn't work. Fuel pump doesn't work.
And just to double check, how much did we pay for that 309?
200 quid, right?
And how much did we pay for this beauty?
100 quid, mate. Well, you paid 100.
I paid 100 quid, so you're getting all 3 parts here, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, who knows what they're doing round here?
Who forgot he had a parts car for that? I told him he had a parts car and he went, yes, I have. Mine.
Right, so what are you doing, Rich?
Fuel pump. So I have to pry this up.
Yeah.
I've got the ignition job and pull the power if anything
That
goes wrong.
yeah, so
This is a new ignition.
you can't actually turn it off with that new ignition, so you have to pull the main.
No.
Right, okay then, so we're going to give it a go.
Dave's getting a safe distance. Right, go on then.
Tachymetric relay is missing out of this. This controls the fueling system. I think the fuel pump, the ignition coil, everything.
So that was
controlled.
missing.
Well, yeah, gets a signal.
And what we've just put a relay in, and we've tried to start the car with what not in it.
No,
ECU.
that's not going to work anyway.
We've got a relay from a Saab, and it says other relays from late 80s cars. And
Should work.
yeah, but it didn't mention Saab though. And that's
Did you
got
mention
it.
anything about low and high beams?
No, it didn't.
But this where the relay used to go into anyway, is completely melted. So they must have had a problem with it prior. So they've put like a weird spade connector. It's all taped up and manky. So the answer to the question, will it run, is no. It won't. Why do we keep missing this every single time?
Fucking morons.
Dave says don't swear anymore.
I didn't swear, I said bloody moron. Come on.
I think it gets too much in there though. It always does it on like your first startups where it will turn over a little bit and run on one cylinder for about half a second.
Well,
We need to order that relay. 'Cause we need one anyway,
Yep.
right? So order that relay because it is part of the fuel system. Hopefully then we can get these fuel injectors to
Yeah.
fire.
Leave it in the comments if there's something we're not checking. There's a lot missing from this engine, so we don't know.
Loads. I mean,
We've
look, we
jerry-
haven't even got an ignition
No,
system.
we've jerry rigged up like a a wiring loom. We're missing some relays. It's coming to life a little bit a couple of times, but
we'll have to have a look. If we could get a new ignition system, because at the minute I think there's a lot of stuff what probably still isn't plugged in. What could be to do with some side of the ECU side looks it is very simple, but obviously if it hasn't got the key ingredients, it ain't going to work, is it? If it hasn't got a positive and a live when it's supposed to. And apparently this Jetronic or whatever system, tachyometric. If the RPM is below 400 RPM, it won't.
Done with that?
Yeah, I'm done with that, mate. It won't work. So, yeah.
We'll get a relay. But if you see this episode before we get it, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
It's a nail, man.
It's a good thought. Anyway, let's wrap it up.
It's a laugh though, isn't it?
Let's wrap it up.
Like, follow, share and subscribe. Get involved, leave us comments and everything. Jack loves a late night reply.
And you know, I know it's a load of scrap and we love it though, don't we?
Yeah, we do, man. We
and
do.
I think everyone else loves it secretly.
Oh, see you next time.